Lord, we just thank you for this day and this opportunity to gather together. We thank you, Lord, for the privilege of doing business for the city. Just thank you, Lord, for all the decisions that are made here, Lord. First of all, are made according to your plan and will for our town. And that everything done here also represents good grace and understanding of one another. And we're always going to give you the glory for everything that's done and accomplished in this place. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Meeting come to order at 6:01. Roll call, please.
Lorraine Cloud.
Here.
Joseph Jones.
Here.
Ira Hawkins.
Here.
Jamie Conway.
Here.
Dave Carroll.
All right. Approval of the agenda as presented. There's a couple of corrections need to make, or not corrections, but adds.
I make a motion that we add a number 9, mentioning Lana as the signer to all accounts. And then number 10, I would like to add removing Ira and Bill from our court account and adding the judge and Lana for the Missouri statutes.
Entertain a second, please.
Second.
A motion second to accept the agenda as presented with the addition of Lana added as the signer, one signer to the checking account, and number 10, the removal of Ira and Bill from the court account. All those in favor? 3-0. Thank you. Approval of the minutes of October the 11th and November the 1st.
I need to make a change on the November 1st
Go
meeting
ahead,
minutes, because I didn't say no, I abstained on that vote for the,
Okay, we'll go ahead. Can we add this?
So I move to approve with adjustments.
so I'll move to approve with adjustments. That was noted.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second to approve the minutes with the correction of Doreen voting to abstain when voting for the attorneys. All those in favor? 3-0. Thank you. We have some guests tonight. First is Marshall with Marshall Decker and DeGood CPA, the representative.
Hi, my name's Blake Pace with Decker & DeGood CPA firm. I'll be referring to that audited financial statement in front of you. We've done the audit for the city of Granby for the year ended June 30th, 2022. And I'm going to start on page 1 of that blue binder. Page 1 is what's called the Independent Auditor's Report. And this outlines the responsibilities of management for the financial statements, our responsibilities as the auditors, and then our opinion, which is part of our responsibilities. So responsibilities of management is just to furnish to us all relevant and applicable financial statement information, and then our job as the auditors is to opine on that financial statement information and determine whether it's free from material misstatement or not. So the city of Granby this year received a clean opinion. It's the highest designating opinion, which means just that all the financial information that was presented to us does present fairly and can be trusted by any outside agencies such as bonding agencies, banks, or any outside reader that may be reading the audit report. That being said, I'm going to flip to page 7. Page 7 is what is traditionally known as a profit and loss statement. This page is specifically for the governmental funds, so any fund that operates primarily off tax revenues. In the city's case, it would be the general fund, street fund, the TIF fund, and the cemetery fund. In total, the governmental funds brought in $1,097,041 of revenue. They had expenditures of $1,403,303. Had some transfers in and out, sale of assets, leading to a net change in fund balance of the governmental funds of negative $146,913. A main reason for that Negative change is, looks like there's a lot of capital outlay, a lot of capital expenditures this year, that amounting to $572,274, so quite heavy on the expenditures, so that, you know, nothing to be worried about, that just merely explains why there is a deficit this year. Really, more importantly, what we're looking at on this specific statement is the comparison of your total fund balance for the governmental funds compared to your total expenditures for the governmental funds. And what we like to see is, in terms of your total expenditures, roughly 25 to 50% of your total expenditures being represented in your ending fund balance. So in your guys' case, total expenditures, you had roughly 35% of that in your fund balance, which really just means you have enough cash to cover your expenditures. 35% of fund balance compared to your expenditures means you've got 3 to 4 months of operating cash without even bringing in any revenue. So your guys' cash balances in terms of your governmental funds are very strong and consistent with our expectations. That being said, I'll flip to page 10. And this is a similar statement, except this is specifically for your proprietary or enterprise funds. And these are your funds that operate for charges for services instead of your tax revenues. So in the city's case, it's your water fund, sewer fund, gas, and sanitation funds. And in total, these funds brought in $1,551,505 of revenue. They had operating expenses of $1,450,519. Had some interest income, interest expense, transfers in and outs, grants, leading to a total change in net position of the proprietary funds of $100,549. So if you look in the operating expenses, the top line, you've got $168,000 roughly of depreciation. Even with that estimation calculated in there, the city's to a plus in terms of their change in net position. And really, in terms of determining how your proprietary funds are operating, a better representation of that is on page 11 in what's called the Statement of Cash Flows. This statement basically allows us to determine whether you guys can meet your capital expenditures, your debt, your principal and interest payments, and at the end of the day, still have more cash in your bank than you began the year with. So the main point, about halfway down the page, it says net increase in cash and cash equivalents. In total, the proprietary funds increased their cash balances over the year by $169,620. So, like I said, at the end of the year, you successfully made your debt payments, you had capital expenditures, and you still increased your cash balances. Where it would be a concern is if your cash was decreasing year over year and you couldn't make those debt payments and you couldn't finance new projects, then we'd be having the discussion of a possible rate increase in those utility funds, but that's just not the case for the city this year. That being said, everything checks out very well. Cash balances are well. The city's in great financial position, and I'll open it up to any questions.
Council, anyone?
Not with just looking at it, no, I have no questions.
Jamie, Bill, you guys have anything? No. What'd you say your name was?
Blake Pace.
Blake?
I'm actually Marshall's grandson, so he's up in Newburgh tonight doing a presentation, so
Okay.
I'm filling in for him tonight, but been working with him for about 4 years now,
Did
so.
you tell him that he owes you?
Oh, yeah, yep. I think he's treating me to breakfast in the morning, so,
Thank you, we're
yeah,
good.
appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for your
Appreciate
time. Any questions you guys have, feel free to reach out to us.
Okay, thank you, sure will.
I move that we accept the audit results as stated.
I'll second that.
Motion is second to accept the audit results, all those in favor? 3-0. All right, Tammy Sifferman?
Hi.
My name is Tammy, and I want to ask you guys if I could please use the senior citizen building for AA meetings once or twice a week. I've never done this before. I'm 2 years, 3 months sober. I was a really bad alcoholic, really bad. I'm lucky to even be here. And there's so many people that really need help, and sometimes they just want to talk, and I want to be there to help them.
Are you would be considered the responsible person there?
Yes, sir.
No matter what happened or went on, or?
Yes, sir.
You're
I would be responsible.
Joe, at this point, you care for the senior side. Yeah. And are we looking at a certain night, or?
I was, well, a lot of people, like in the treatment program, they have Fridays off from work. I was thinking maybe a Friday night. Also, Friday nights is when a lot of people like to go out and get drunk, and I was just thinking maybe instead of going and grabbing that bottle, just come to a meeting and talk about it. So I know talking really helps, it really does.
I have always thought that one day that would end up being some type of a senior facility, but it doesn't seem like to be getting that way very rapidly. I think this group is probably legitimate to need something. Is there any concerns or that the council might have with them doing this in that spot?
I'd like to know what Joe.
Joe?
Yeah, I would just ask, Friday night would be a good night if you clean the building, the room when you're done.
Yes, sir.
Because I do have rentals most of the weekends.
Okay.
And then that way, Saturday, run from the recycle, run from the parks, back and forth. I don't have to spend another 30 minutes or an hour cleaning up bathrooms or taking out trash.
Okay,
And
I can
show
do
you
that.
a walkthrough where we keep all the trash, the amenities and things for that.
Okay.
Do you have a specific cleanup list for when somebody does rent it, when they?
Yeah, I
They
mean,
exit.
basically, right, what I ask them to do is carry the trash out. I like to clean the bathrooms and do the disinfectant, so I know that it's done a certain way where it's clean.
Okay, I'm pretty good at cleaning. And sanitizing for sure.
You'd have to check a key out on Fridays here at the City Hall.
Okay.
Sometime there on Thursday, Friday, and then slip it in the drop box when you're done Friday night.
Okay, if, at Lafayette, it's Kelly Davis and Terry Owens, they're my counselors. They were talking that, maybe twice a week, but I thought maybe I would just start out with once a week and then see if twice a week is needed. Does that make
Especially
sense?
for the winter time.
Yeah.
Once a week would probably be a good start.
And what hours would you be?
Maybe 6 o'clock, 6, 7 o'clock.
For how long?
An hour, well, however long it's needed. I've been to a meeting where it's lasted 3 hours before, just a lot of people had a lot to get off their chest.
How long,
No, I meant
okay,
each
time-wise,
evening,
okay.
yes.
But I don't really know a set, I can set a time, but I just, some people just really
Sure.
need to talk.
I mean, just for public, to
Maybe
to make
2
it public
hours?
and let people know.
Oh, okay, 2 hours, 6 o'clock, 6 to 8. Does that sound good? I spoke with the judge today. I got to phase 4 today and my treatment plan, and he's really excited about this because I was scared to death whenever I first started this. I was so scared, and I was afraid to talk to anyone. And I'm sober, and I'm happy, and I'm living, and I just want to help more people.
Right now, I don't see a problem with that happening, but I do believe that we should take this week by week or month by month and just see how it goes, see how you're progressing along, see if that works. Our facility works into your, what you need. Joe can oversee some of the, I'd just like to see that it's working.
Right, and we also don't want to give up the fact of that actually being a senior center.
Yeah.
I understand.
If it became the senior center, Lorraine, my thoughts are that then they would take control basically of the rental and usage and stuff like that. Then they would take over,
Right.
offering it to somebody, don't you think?
Mhm.
As a,
I know there's a need for this. I saw it on Facebook years ago. People were asking for places. And a lot of times churches are mentioned, but that's not necessarily equal grounds for everyone. And I think that gives people the opportunity to feel like they can come just visit, like you said, it's free, open, there's no, I think it's an excellent idea, personally.
Thank you.
I think we're in agreement then that we can do this. I think the liaison for the city should be Joe.
Yeah.
And if you have a need or problem, then he'll transfer that to the council, whatever it might be. But I would.
So how are you gonna advertise this?
I wanted to put it on Thoughts and Views, but sometimes I get on there and there's so much arguing going on, so much bitterness. Maybe some flyers, but I don't know how that would be, not unless I like go door to door with some flyers, which I mean, that would be a problem for me, but, I like it, it's Thoughts and Views or, the Hood Watch, post it on there. Maybe have a couple things maybe in the grocery store or the dollar
Sure.
store.
You'd
post
like to
things
get
up.
the word out, but you
I
don't
feel like
wanna
if you-
somebody becoming a negative against it, and there's some.
Yeah, I don't
wouldn't
want
do that.
any negativity, you know, because a
What you
lot of
wanna
people
say?
are already feeling so negative about themselves. I know that Lafayette House, they're going to send some, because there's people that need, you know, around here, here in Granby actually, so they'll be coming, and there'll be some people from Neosho coming. What is that church? Split Log. I think that's where we might have our next graduation.
Okay.
Yeah, they, you know, they're wonderful people there, and I would like to have a common ground where somebody can come and just, whatever they need to talk about.
My daughter attends Split Log. If you ever want to, you can come, we own the quilt shop down there.
Uh-huh.
You can come down there and she can help you create some flyers or something like that. She uses Canva, so
Oh.
she create Facebook event covers and stuff like that. And since if the council decides to vote on this as a member, I could share that on the Thoughts and Views for you and help curb some of the negativity if you'd like.
Okay, then thank you.
Or you could share it and just turn off comments, so it'll just be a notification.
The owner cannot turn off the comments. I think, I've never ran a group. You have.
Whoever posted can turn off.
Can they? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
turn off the comments.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's just a public notification instead of an open forum for people to put their views out.
Yeah, so if they have questions, they could just directly send it to you then.
Okay,
So
that's awesome.
yeah.
That sounds
But if you need
wonderful.
help doing that, Des is our tech girl. For the next 2 weeks, you can come by. She's
Okay,
moving on after this, so.
okay.
I'd entertain a motion then to,
I make a motion that we allow them to host AA meetings at the senior center.
Second.
motion second for Tammy
Sifferman.
and their group to use the senior center for AA meetings. And all those in favor? 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Karen, come on up, Karen.
Kristen's my partner in crime here. We're kind of at a loss as to what to do on this mowing situation at the cemetery. Of course, we're not mowing anything right now, but,
Great time to be thinking about it.
yeah, and we're still under contract for the next mowing season, isn't that right, Lana? And so, we just kinda need some advice what to do. I've written down some things so I wouldn't forget them. I know that this company started out kinda rough because we were kinda delayed getting started on our part, kinda delayed getting the contract to him. The grass was really tall by the time he got started. And then Memorial Weekend came up and it was just kind of a nightmare to begin with. And we thought, okay, give him the month of June and everything ought to be good. Everything wasn't good. He started mowing, I'm sure you're all familiar with cemetery, and the north end has those empty fields. I'd go out there and he'd have those all mowed and the graves not mowed. So I asked him, please mow the graves, weed eat around the graves first, then go do the empty fields. Because people wanted the graves done first, which is what needs to be done. I asked him to make sure he weed eats like around the maintenance building. That was done twice, all season long. we ask him to have it completely mowed within 2 days, 3 at the max, like if you had a rain day or something and had to wait. How many times was it completely mowed? Like the whole?
Not at one time, no.
Yeah, he would mow a section and then 4 or 5 days later come mow another section. Well, by the time you mow that one, then that first one needs it done again. It was just kind of a nightmare. On October 20th, since there's not really any mowing to do, I asked him if he could do between the fences. You know, we put up the wood fence.
Yeah.
And the chain link fence is still back there. That's still not done. Let me see. He started it the next day when I asked him, and he's got maybe, what, a quarter of it done?
Maybe if that, but yeah.
And he told me he would finish it up on October 22nd, which is 2 days later, and it hasn't happened. Back to Memorial Weekend, he wanted to come mow on that Saturday, and I told him no. There's too many people. You know, people take the whole weekend decorating. Told him no. I said, you'll have to wait till after Memorial Day. Memorial Day, he showed up and wanted to mow. And Kristen told him, no, you can't mow now, it's Memorial Day. And he said, well, that other lady, and I was sitting right beside her, he said, the other lady told me I could. So, anyway, and then I had 2 complaints when Maxine Lawyer's service was happening, which the tent's set up, it's obvious there's a funeral. He had the roadblock where people turned in and then they had to back out because he had his truck and trailer out there in the way. And I don't know, on that one, you'd think he would see that there's a service going on. But I wanted to show you, Kristen and I mowed the fields twice, at least twice. This is a picture of sitting on the mower at the north chain link fence. I'm sitting on the mower and just took that picture. And then these are just other random.
The question we have here, I think, and if I'm understanding this correctly, it says, do we have the wherewithal to
Dissolve the contract.
dissolve the contract and send a letter expressing the dissolution of the contract and doing away with their services? And am I correct?
Yeah, we're at wit's
And then
end.
put it up for bid again.
And then
or
we don't
whatever.
wanna wait, if we do put it up for bid again, we don't wanna wait as late as we did last time, because people are getting their jobs now for next season. And, you know, we just had the one bid last year, and that's because everybody was already booked up with everything they do. I think, I hope that was the case.
Karen, did you ever mow the old cemetery?
I don't know.
I do believe he did. The day of Memorial, when he came and asked us if he could mow, we told him no, he could not mow, because we had probably at that time 10 cars out there, and we were like, no, absolutely not. He said, well, then I'm gonna go mow the old cemetery. And we're like, okay, because no one really goes out to that one. So I do believe he did. I don't know how much, because we don't really do a lot with that cemetery. That's not in our area. So,
Well, I know that one time, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think one time it was pretty shaggy. And I think Travis went out and mowed it all and
Right.
weed eated it.
He was the last one that mowed it there for
The
So
old
I don't know what it
cemetery?
looks like right now, but I think he did
quite
once.
a while.
The whole street department mowed it once, didn't they?
The main cemetery, we mowed it twice, I think.
Yeah,
We Ronnie mowed part of it, and then we come out.
Mm-hmm.
So according to contract, is he definitely in breach of
Well-
contract?
Obviously, number 2, Peterson Mowing shall prosecute the work in a diligent manner.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then
if they're asking them to-
on that responsibilities, deliver in a timely manner all services.
Right. I would like to see if we do put this back up, this needs to be a little more specific, especially under responsibilities. Like if we could specifically state, you know,
Weed eat around the fence, weed eat
exactly
around the
what
building.
we need done. That
Could-
way we can be like, okay, this is in your contract, it's not done, we're
Could
gonna
you
have to.
give us some exact things that you want added in here, like she's
Yeah.
saying?
And the same thing
So
with,
so that we can get a good contract.
But we do need to draft a letter that would go to him, telling him we want to dissolve this contract because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And then we'll move forward from that with some kind of a general contract that I think is good for you, it's good for the city, and certainly good for the.
So you understand our frustrations?
Well, I do.
It's been awful.
Well, we shouldn't have our people mowing anything if we've got somebody under
If there's a
contract.
contract, yeah.
Yeah, the fields wouldn't have been mowed again had we not done it.
We used to try to do them every other month,
Mhm.
instead of trying to do it every time.
Right.
We would do the fields every other time.
I believe so. I mean, even it states here too that if, up to $100 a day if he's not following the contract. I don't.
And he had told me when I talked to him last week or the week before that he hasn't been getting paid. Well, that's not true. But I guess
About
maybe,
that information, right?
maybe a check is lost in the mail perhaps.
November's check is lost in the mail and he wants us to do something.
So that's the only check that he hasn't
We sign a
received.
check to him every month.
It's not like he hasn't been paid
Right.
at all, and that's the way you made it sound.
And the mailing was at his request, because Carrie had asked him if he would rather take them up here. And he said no.
And I think that may be why he just kind of quit on that fence thing, because I'm not getting paid. But, I don't know.
Well, it'd be up to the council to agree to dissolve this contract, but there needs to be a letter sent stating the reason we are.
My question is, Ira, because this is still city property, are you guys needing to send that letter? Because I think it needs to come from the city of Granby, not just the cemetery. Because we're just the volunteers behind this. You guys are the ones that actually own the cemetery.
And did the contract.
I do
And
think
do
that
the
we can
contract.
send a letter, don't you think?
My recommendation would be that we send this contract to the new council and have the new
The new
legal counsel.
attorney.
And have the letter come from the law firm.
I agree,
That's good.
as soon as possible.
Okay.
But does the council agree that we should pursue, to dissolve this contract and put this back up for bid again?
Do we need to make
Or
this,
am I ahead on language here?
do we need to make this an emotion?
Yep.
I move that we dissolve this contract and get the lawyers to write a letter as soon as possible and get a new contract ready so we can get somebody as soon as possible.
Sounds all right.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second to start the process of dissolving the contract with this company, this mowing company, and a letter being drafted to them stating the reasons why, and then our attorneys drafting a new contract that would go into effect for whoever would take over the mowing again.
Okay.
All those in favor? 3-0. Thank you, Karen.
Take those pictures back.
I do feel like we should probably specify the Memorial Weekend thing on the contract too. It must be mowed before and ready for that.
Very important.
So that, yeah.
Apparently,
Was it, what's the most important days? Memorial Day and
Or would you rather be emails?
Mother's Day and
Mother's Day, Father's Day, those, yeah.
those
Maybe
special
those
times.
Holidays, we could
Special
specify that
times.
they don't mow
Yeah.
often, but you wouldn't think you need to specify that, but. As you go, right?
Gene, wastewater? Yeah,
Well, we've arrived at the point in our wastewater system improvement program where we can take bids. With the recording of the easement from the Cookers, we were able to provide that to your city attorney. The city attorney dutifully provided an opinion as to adequacy of rights of way, and the city provided the certification of right of way. And with that, Mr. Cody Green with Rural Development gave us a letter dated November the 14th authorizing us to take bids. through it, but in his first paragraph, he relates the funds that have been obligated, and he says, therefore, we authorize bidding of this project. In the second paragraph, he relates how often we need to advertise in a newspaper of general local circulation, and I need to prepare a list of contractors that will receive a notice and an invitation to bid. I spoke today with Sue Bacorn, and she is your liaison with the Community Development Block Grant Funds. She said that she would send out notices to the minority business enterprise groups and advise them, which we need to do is to keep ourselves in keeping with the conditions of the grant and the funds. And then he asked for a copy of the proposed addendums, which we'll probably have to develop as we go through the bidding process. And today I've been in conversation with Lana, and we, I guess, have tentatively set January the 5th as our day that we will open bids at, we say 10 o'clock. The other date that I'll have to come up with is sometime before that bid opening, we'll need to hold what we call a pre-bid conference. All the plant holders who've had a chance to look at the drawings, visit the plant, discuss with me questions. We give them an opportunity to meet with us and pose their questions and make inquiries and get answers regarding the nature of the project and what we expect in the way of time frame, things like that. So, at this point, I would like to get the council's concurrence in the form of a motion to authorize advertising for bids. This is under the mayor's signature, and I understand we'll advertise in the Neosho Daily News, Newton County News, I'm sorry. We have to advertise at least 3 times, I think, before the date of the bid opening, and we also have to ask for a affidavit of publication for each time we publish it. But what I'd like to ask the council for is a motion authorizing the advertising for bids so that we can get this going. Any questions?
Any questions, council? I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we request bids for the wastewater treatment program.
Second.
A motion and second to allow bid process to move forward. All those in favor? 2. All those opposed? 1. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll proceed, and I'll try to keep in touch. In the meantime, any questions that come up, don't hesitate to have Lana or yourself call me. But right now, what we're gonna be able to do is to get all the contractors in the region to get interest in the project, take out a set of plans and specs.
All right, thank you, Gene.
Thank you.
All right, old business, discussion of department head job descriptions and performance. Dwayne?
Yeah, this is drug on forever. Do we have policies and procedures in place for all of our departments?
I just put some ordinances.
Okay, so do we know, like, if, when Jim didn't come in last week, did you guys know exactly what to start with and where to go for the next event?
I came in.
Well, if you weren't here.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have policies in place for that, though? Procedures in place, written policies and procedures?
To do their daily job?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Can we get that?
Yeah, I mean, they just know what to do, they know what's gotta be done.
But if somebody new came in, they wouldn't, so we need to we're working on revising the employee policy and procedures handbook. That, I think that needs to go right along with job descriptions. You have a list of what your your guy does?
I have a daily text, given, so it's in writing. But it's not a written procedure like Krista just asked.
Would it hard to get?
I can make one.
I mean, I don't care if it's a monthly thing or if it's, you know,
It's just
usually,
that our deal's different every day. We don't do the same thing every day.
right?
So I mean, how can you put in writing what to do when you don't know what you're gonna have to do?
Would you do the same thing every month? Do you,
No, we don't know what we're gonna do from day to day. We have some general stuff that we do,
okay,
but we don't know what specifically we're gonna be doing. Well, I mean, as is for like the next 3 days, I've got 2 guys reading meters.
okay. So that's something that would be on the policy. You need to have
But
meters
other
read
than
by
that,
so many
that's the only
days.
thing we
But
have
if,
set.
but if there was a major, water main break,
Yeah,
the
that
meter
comes to the whole
goes
too.
to the
Right.
side.
So
Right.
that's what I'm saying, we can't.
Barring an emergency, but I feel like when we have somebody new coming in to work, they need to know what is expected of them.
That's why I said the general definition of my guys are laborers, and that is what has to be done.
For that day.
Yeah. My guys don't have no specific job description.
Well, that's just like we're gonna redo the contract for the mowing, because we want it to be specifically things that need to be done.
But that is one thing, they're doing mowing.
Mm-hmm,
My guys are doing several different things. I mean, you could also get in trouble with saying, this is your guys' job description.
right?
Well, what if something comes up that's,
Other duties as assigned.
and one of my guys says, well, that's not my job.
I think what she's getting at is, okay, for example, are the street signs all replaced?
And we've got the one by Gary's to get up, because we're waiting on locate on it, and then I've got to get the others, waiting on the other, all the ones that,
Probably
the
90%.
previous purchase ones have all been, yeah.
Okay,
Other than the one on the corner.
so, and there's actually lots more that need to go up.
I think
So-
we had 25 is what David found when he put them up.
Okay, so you said David found 25. Okay, how often does David check for street signs?
When he's mowing, or he found these when he was putting the other signs up.
Okay, so is there a
That's what I'm
process?
saying, it's just,
Is there a process of where, like, if he finds street signs that need to be changed out, does he write it down, does he log it into you? How
yeah,
does that
he
work?
writes them down.
Okay, so, I think basically what she's saying is that hasn't been a process, right? You just started that process?
Well,
Pretty
we've always,
recent.
no, it's always kind of been that way. Just wherever you see it, jot it down,
And that's how,
Which is how we
We
got
got
to where we had
150
50 signs that were
in
not.
the past, Jacob's guys have turned in stuff that they found.
okay, so, which shows us a lack in that procedure, something with that procedure caused us to have a breakdown of not having signs up. I drove through by the school the other day, and there's no signs that indicate certain roads. There are signs you can't read down by the school. So a child gets on his bike, he falls, he gets hurt, his friend has to call 911 for help. How is he gonna tell him where he's at? There's no street signs down there. So my point being is what she's talking about is if you had set procedures, like every week on Mondays, so-and-so logs, you know, whatever signs they haven't found through for
What
the
I'm
week, that
saying
kind of
is,
thing.
that Monday rolls around, and we've got a 6-inch water line broke, that's out.
But that's
For that Monday,
It
so
doesn't
how about
happen
the
every
next
Monday.
Monday?
Huh?
How about the next Monday?
Well, like I said, we don't have enough people to have that kind of,
Luxury.
of leisure.
That's not a leisure, that is a procedure, like any good, well-running thing will have specific things they do weekly, daily. It's a routine that all people have.
What I'm trying to say
I
is
get
we
that you
can't
have
do that.
emergencies in
We can't
between.
plan something.
You can.
Yeah, we can, and then it gets pushed away because we have an emergency.
And when you have an emergency, then you don't get that done that day, but then it comes back around for the next procedure. That's how things don't get completed. That's why you have 50 missing signs, is because there's not a set procedure on how to follow through with those. That's all she's trying to do, is trying to figure out what procedures you have to help you get those tasks done easier, faster, and it's actually beneficial for you.
I mean, we could set that for our meter readers to start looking or noticing.
Yeah, maybe you create a list or something while they're reading meters, they write that in, they turn all that in at the same time.
That would be.
Well, this is gonna become-
They're on every street.
Now, this is gonna become, kind of fixed, and then once those signs are all up, unless somebody's taking one down.
Which will happen.
Or over
So that
time
way
they
we
come
can-
back, but that's an excellent, that's exactly, I think that's what she's just wanting you to kind of brainstorm through that, and you have great ideas, Jim, I've seen some of
That
the stuff you
is
come
the
up
only
with.
stuff that we really don't, like all of our gas stuff, I have procedures.
Right.
Mhm.
Water, like, we had an inspection today with the NR, we have procedures we have to go by, per state. You know, there are state requirements.
Now,
See,
there
that's
is
all
a,
I'm
now,
asking, is to have these kind of things in place, so we don't go back to having so many signs missing that we have to dump a bunch of money in at once, where we can replace 10 signs versus 50.
Just keep that maintenance going type thing, is, I think,
well, I think
that's.
also though, Doreen, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the city employees come to the city hall to gather the work orders for the whatever came in, and then they go to, some of them they go to Jim, and he'll prioritize some of them, and then some of them he'll put on a list to do. Sometimes we can get to this, we can get to that one. There probably is a way to put forth a general, this is what we do for the day or the week or the month. But this will be a tough one because of the department, I think, with it being gas, water, and street. Probably easier for Victor, and it's probably easier for Joe and Jacob, but I think it's a little tougher for Jim because he lives in kind of a,
So do we need to restructure some of that?
Like if you were to not have the streets, if you were just to have the gas and the water in one and the streets were to be in another.
the reason they're together in Granby anyhow is because of equipment. You can't cross equipment, doesn't work very well. Like, I need a backhoe over here, well, my backhoe's over here, well, we can't be buying another equipment, street, or I'm gonna put some fill in over here, or I'm gonna work on this, but I need this piece of equipment, well, I need this piece of equipment over here in gas and water.
Well, that's
That
when if you
doesn't
have
work
policy and
well.
procedures in place, you'll know today's the day that they're gonna be using this equipment. Unless there's an emergency, that's what it's gonna be used for that day.
I think probably, and then some adjustments to the language could fix part of this. I think the job duties is good, but I think probably you could just probably chart out what the guys do each day. Today, they're picking up the job orders, they're gonna work on 4 water leaks, but tomorrow they're gonna work on meter reading, and then they'll also log signs if there's any out in any place and turn them in. There's ways of doing that, I believe, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Separate the departments, and have like 3 trucks for the street department,
Well, I don't think that's a good
and
idea.
a backhoe. Those-
Not in Granby, not with
No,
3
because,
guys.
Well, the service truck, both of our trucks, except the snow plow, which falls into the street department. The red dump truck we use on water leaks, which is used for the street department, and then we've only got the one, besides the backhoe out of Joe's. Yeah.
It's a 1984 backhoe.
Nice.
One owner.
I think we should,
Classic.
I think basically we should leave things the way they are, except for making some
It
adjustments.
is the first new backhoe the city ever bought, so.
I do have a general summary was typed into his job description in the beginning. And we have a set of things that we do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So he knows what his game plan is when he comes in.
Right.
It's just, but when that varies, like Jim's saying, there's something that changes, I give him a text message, because I've been here before he is, that lets him know what his first step of the day, where he's headed.
So you make those adjustments
I make
day
them-
by day.
Yeah, and that's all any of us can do,
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do.
but, mine would be a little easier to do than theirs, because they've gotta come get a work order and then find that, you know. But I know they have I know Jim's trained them enough that they have a certain time they come by here looking for work orders. After they make the rounds in the morning looking for water.
See, then with our line locates, they have to be done, you know, we don't know, we might have 10 today, we might have 1 today.
20 tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the most time.
Whoever called them in.
That's the most time-consuming thing we've got, and hopefully, if this new water system goes through, and we have mapping on it, like we do our gas system and everything, we could look into an outside contract like the US, that contracts for the fiber company and stuff like that. But with our water system now, we can't have an outsider coming in because
New system will be mapped.
it's hard enough for us to know where stuff's at, yeah. Because, like I said, the line location, I mean, you guys see how many we get, that's so time consuming.
Jacob?
So, my farm's all like Jim's in the fact that we don't know what's gonna come in from day to day. But I have a book that has general procedures to how they're supposed to respond to this type of call or that type of call, what the steps are they should take when they get there, that sort of thing. I think that's kind of what you're asking for out of Jim's
Right,
department,
right.
but I wrote all those. There's no group out there, you can pay a lot of money to have a group come in and write those and provide all those for you in the city. It's gonna cost a lot, thousands of dollars.
So I was gonna say.
To get what
it's
you
more
want, someone's probably got to sit down with Jim and find time with Jim and someone to sit down with him and write out what those procedures should be. This is when a guy gets a meter, a water located, this is what he should do.
Yeah, steps, procedures, exactly. And I'm not trying to be,
See, I got most of that in my operations and maintenance manual.
okay,
I think that's what they're asking.
Yeah, I've got that.
because like I said, when somebody new comes in, I mean, you're not gonna work here forever. I mean, you're gonna wanna retire and go
Like I said,
fishing somewhere.
we've got an O&M operations and maintenance manual, operator qualifications manual, emergency procedures manual.
If somebody comes in, will they have access to the same manuals? If somebody comes in, will they have the same licensing and qualifications and procedures and stuff? Or will they change all that? Or can you change it?
The state can change, we can't, the state can't. Well, we can change ours, but we still have to go, like if I change one of my procedures that's more stringent than the state or the federal, that's the one that we have to go by. So everybody tries to run by the state standards. But whichever is the more stringent is what we have to go by. So you got, which we deal with federal, state, and then our city procedure. City
But I think,
manual.
Doreen, aren't you looking for general procedure?
Yeah,
Just like if, I think if somebody came in new,
Mhm.
let's say to assume Jim's job when he retired.
Yes.
Um,
I mean, I'm
They have
hoping
a-
you're hiring to promote.
They have the licensing, they know what's supposed to happen, but they won't know where the lines are probably. Start out, Lana.
I feel like what Doreen's asking for is more administrative. Or maybe something Jim needs to come in and sit down with Caitlin, has some free time. Maybe just give her a list of things the boys do, and then we could work through a procedure. I'm
You want
not
the stuff
against
that
it.
you
Helping
do
people.
every week. Put down whatever you gotta do every week. Give it to them. That way they'll know what has to be done every week.
I think what this runs back down to was things, we get complaints from citizens, certain things don't get finished or completed or what have you. And it's stuff that's not in the forefront because you do have emergencies. And I think a lot of times we're putting out fires, and we're missing some of the routine things is where this all came from. Am I
Yeah.
correct? So things such as the signs, the weed eating of the sidewalks, the potholes in the streets, things like that just develop over time are not at the forefront. And I think that's where the concerns are coming from. Am I correct?
Citizens are coming and saying, we need this done, we need this done, we need this done. We asked about it in the meeting, and then lo and behold, the next month, okay, the signs got put up. Or the, area there on the corner where, Christian had been complaining about all the water and all the gravel. We talked about it in a meeting and it got done. They wanna know why we have to hold your hand and tell you this needs to be done.
Well, I think it's in the process
Yeah,
But,
I mean, that's just like
in other words,
repairs on
we
South Main
caught it
Street,
when it was
you know.
gonna
I'm
be
waiting on
done.
contract. I can't, you know, I can't make somebody do something.
I understand.
That deal up there, that was already in the works. It wouldn't have been done if Zane wouldn't have been in town working for the phone company. But he just happened to be here, and I kind of pushed on him a little bit to come over and get that taken care of while he was here.
And I appreciate that, I do.
So that was,
I don't know that it's always in the works, quite frankly. I'm not trying to be rude, I'm really not. But a lot of times it's like
would you like to see my
blindsided.
communications with Zane on that job right there?
Sometimes I would, yes. I'm not trying to be, like I said, I'm not trying to be rude, but I asked for the street signs for months and I was told they were on order and they weren't. So I'm just being just honest with you. I think it would be beneficial if you had something that was, I'm not asking for you to write down your everyday stuff. That's not at all what I'm asking. I'm just saying it would be beneficial to have a process that you come in the spring and you know these things have to be done in the spring. It's just like a routine type thing. And I think that we struggle to have that in the forefront for us. I think that we're reminding you of it, and I think you are really great to jump on it and get it done. You do a great job after we've griped at you, and I hate griping at you. So I'm just saying it would be nice if there was a way that those things could just be in the forefront for you, and it was just an automatic. I hope you're not taking that in, you know, the way I'm not intending it.
Well, it seems like as though the gym is the only one being drug out here.
No, this is for everyone,
But
all
I'm
of
not-
us.
when
but
the
I'm-
lawn
but I'm-
season
but I'm
starts,
not-
I hope
but
he
I'm
has
not
procedures.
noticing that.
Okay, I'm sorry, let's, Tim,
Okay, Joe, you're up.
Do what?
Tim, are you listening? Oh, I'm sorry, are you ready to go? Another policy would be like, where do our street lights go at Christmas time every year? You have a policy when you put them up, because I know it's Black Friday, because I gave you credit last year for that.
And we take them down the weekend after New Year's.
Okay, and where do they go?
They're hangers. They have to go same spot every year, because not every street pole has the hanger they hang on, or the electrical cord.
Where do you put them away at, though? What's the procedure of putting them away?
We put them down there in the pole barn or gyms.
Okay, so did they get put away this last year?
Yes,
Why did somebody tell me that they weren't any good?
they haven't been good for 2 years. We discussed this last
Spring.
December.
So,
That the committee was gonna try getting them.
someone's 30
So-
years old.
very good, thank you, that's what I'm getting at. So what was our procedures that when we replace those? How do we know when to replace them? What is,
The
How do we-
Christmas decorations have been one of those placed things
Mhm.
that have no owner.
okay, why?
Well, that's the question probably for the council. There is no owner here.
So that's what we're getting to the bottom of, is we work in circles. We talked about ordering them, we wanted them, they never got ordered, right?
Was
Or
a
do we have?
was a committee that bought some.
When Will was here, there was some got ordered,
Yeah, we got like 10 new ones back when Will was in charge. of
and at that time, they were talking about
committee.
ordering so many.
So many every year. That's what I'm trying to get at, is like, if you had a procedure in place, you would say, okay, so this year we're gonna order 2 more and we're gonna replace these, because we do this every year. It's something we do. It's on the forefront, it's just something we do.
But I'm
So I'm
not sure
not
whose
picking
fault,
on,
I'm not sure whose fault that is.
oh, we don't need faults. We
Well,
don't
I
need
mean, what I
fingers
mean is,
pointed.
who
I'm not
is
pointing a
supposed-
finger at Jim.
who is
Jim's
supposed
got
to
a lot
order?
on his plate. That's my point, is
Us,
you put them up, right?
he's not ordering them.
So you don't order them, so
I
who
was
orders
asked
them?
Well, it has to be us.
So we talked
Yeah, we
about
talked about it.
it. We talked about it, where did it go from there?
That I don't know.
You know, the
So-
fire department's just put them up for years.
So I'm not picking on Jim, I'm just saying
I think
in
there used to be a
general,
real committee that worked it.
I don't think I'm just saying in general, even my own business, guys, I struggle to get the same things done, and I'm scrambling, when really if I had a procedure in place, it would be done every time. We all are guilty of it. I'm not picking on Jim, I'm really not.
But we're.
And I'm picking on you because they told me to pick on somebody else.
What I'm saying is, I am the fire department, as far as you guys are concerned. I bank on volunteers helping. We ain't in charge of parades, but
They do it.
But
You
we
do it every
appreciate
year.
that.
we do it, just like we don't have the equipment put up Christmas.
But you do it, and the thing is you have a set date you do it. You start at a certain time, you take it down on a set date. So you are very quick to tell me those things. This is when I do it, this is how,
That's
and,
the way it was when I came here.
and that's what we wanna see, that's good. So
Weather
I'm not,
permitting.
yeah, weather permitting, but that's my
You
point,
know,
I mean, am
We
I,
got guys going up at
It's a procedure.
backhoe, standing up, putting these on. It used to be, we always took them and laid them out at the poles. Granby Telephone used to put them up.
But again, I think we are in a position where there is no owner.
but he has a procedure in place, so does the council need to put it on? Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, is if we were, instead of scrambling to spend thousands of dollars all at once every time, if we actually had procedures and the way we do things to where we could just
Is that
rotate.
a council responsibility now, or is that a committee responsibility?
It's something that should be, if the council has to vote on it, then it needs to be put on your agendas yearly or quarterly or like however it needs to pop
Because
up, that kind
we all
of thing.
need a decorator putting up person,
Mhm.
decoration putting up person, or a person
I mean,
that takes care of the decoration,
They get shocked every
make sure the lights work, and all that kind of stuff.
But see, that could be an assigned job duty. Like you assign that to a certain person, it's their job at this time of the year, every year. So, but that's just, I think that's what we're getting at is,
Do we have a conclusion to this?
no, this is a total waste of time.
I'll say that part. Right now, the fire department is taking on the responsibility of putting those decorations up and taking them down.
The
There
point
was
is
one
the
before I
procedures
came on the
that
council
if you do
that was taken because I saw it.
Do you want to assign those to the fire department?
There was a discussion, that's all I know.
Just the whole point is if you have certain things that you do at certain times of the year, every year,
The
those
city spent $300
are the kind of things you've got to keep in
getting them
Well,
together.
doesn't there need to be a leader?
Are we specifically talking about Christmas lights?
Well, I think that's what we're talking about now, isn't it?
No, we're just talking about the fact that there's no procedures in place to replace things.
Yes,
Oh.
ma'am.
In general, I'm sorry.
And I have to agree.
And that's how do you,
See, Bill thinks
how
he
do you
voted
get that
on
I
done?
don't rest voted.
Before I was
You
on.
talk to your department
Does it come from
heads,
this
your
office?
department heads has a specific,
Oh.
it's their job.
Oh, okay.
I know we had a conversation, I thought we voted on buying some new ones. I thought.
Everybody just picks a piece of it because it is what it does.
Yeah.
It isn't a sign.
Jim, I appreciate your answers.
We've got, on Christmas decorations, we've got a garland and a lantern or something down there that's never been put up because it was ordered and we had no place to put it. ODOT said we could not string it across Main Street. It was ordered to go across Main Street.
But we could put it across a couple
Yeah,
of
we
poles.
could put it in front of
the park.
this.
Maybe even Dick Smith maybe.
That
go
big pole,
around.
this is huge.
Maybe Dick Smith,
It's
here to here, couple poles.
It cost a bunch of money and it shouldn't have been, we could have bought several pole decorations for what this.
Who
But we
approved
can't go,
that?
we can't go back.
Who approved that? Yeah.
No, we can't go back. Don't ask about the approval. Don't ask about the approval. I'll probably have my name on it.
Would you?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
If Doreen wants procedures, and Jamie wants procedures, why don't we sit down and chat out? We're gonna do it, let's spend $20,000 to talk about this, sit down and see what procedures you want.
I'd be happy to sit down with you, Jim. I'm sure you would be happy about it, but I
We
would.
have to put a list, I mean, like I said, purchase does so much different each day.
Well, I think the council basically probably has a list of some kind of what they like to see out of wastewater, out of recycle, out of Parks and Recreation, out of fire department, out of utility. And so you want to incorporate those things that you believe is coming from your constituency into public policy. Am I right here? Am I just wasting?
No, yeah,
That's kinda-
policies, procedures, how we do what we do and how we do it. And then we'll have it written down and we'll do it well, and we won't let it fall on the back burner and just be, that's all I'm asking.
Look,
have a question about something, you can read the policy, you can read the procedure.
Any more questions about job description? To any of the department heads?
If you want it done, you're gonna have to do it yourself.
Certainly not talking about me. Well, I think basically what I'm hearing here is there's probably some items that have fallen into neglect, no matter where it might be. And I've always called those maybe spots that didn't seem like were priority to one, but they were more of a priority to another. And I deal with this, been managing for years. Sometimes the owner will come down and say, I thought I told you I need to get this done. I said, well, just didn't think it was important. Well, it wasn't important to me, but it was important to her. And so I make adjustments.
Right.
So I think we can discuss this probably with the department heads. If there's an idea that you have, we can inject that into their responsibility. Now, the Christmas thing, now we're talking about just general duties of the departments. But now the Christmas thing is a little bit puzzling to me because it has always been, as far as I know, a part of committee. And they have taken the responsibility to see that things were done. And generally the person that was in charge of the committee would go to Tim and ask him if he could possibly help get these up. And not knowing that we had gotten anything started, I asked Tim, I said, can you make sure these are up in a timely manner? And he said yes. And then I asked Jim, I said, Jim, we got lots of ground decorations, can you make sure? And he said, yeah, I'll make sure those get up. And that's all I knew to do. There's gonna have to be somebody else that really makes the Christmas festival go forward.
Yesterday, you seen what happened, because people are already putting up Christmas decorations, it snowed before Thanksgiving.
Well, I
So
know
mark that on your
So it's a-
procedures, you're not gonna do that this early.
But I think if I'm not mistaken, that Doreen, aren't you taking some, part of the Christmas, festival and
Yeah,
seeing it?
I'm working with Joe and it's on the agenda, so let's,
Okay, we'll just,
That's where the big deal is,
I'm getting ahead of myself, I'm sorry.
private type committees that wanna jump in and do Christmas, and it's all real good for the first year. Well, then the next year, it falls back to my department having to put these decorations up, Joe having to come in, which wasn't ours to begin with. You know, it wasn't our deal, but then it was a great deal for the first couple of years, so we wanna keep it going, cause it is nice.
We got a lot of ground
Yeah.
decorations
Same
and
thing with
Christmas
your
trees
deal
and
with Christmas committees.
Santa Clauses and different
Yes.
things.
And now it's,
yeah.
The first year, we had them in the park, we had them up and down the main street, we had them over on, B and 60 and different places, just really welcoming people into a Christmas atmosphere. Then it kind of, from that point, went kind of down because I think it was a lack of help.
and
And-
ASI donated.
Yeah, and Will kind of got that started. And I don't know, Doreen, I don't know how it's gonna end up with help-wise. You're gonna try to put that together, I know partial, and then you'll probably get some helpers to do something. I love the Christmas festival, but it takes more than just one or two to make that work right.
I don't think purchasing new things annually could be part of the committee though, because that's the city's money. I don't think that's something the committee can handle. I think somebody has to be responsible for how funds are spent.
Yes.
Well, I agree with that.
You're sitting there saying a committee, but a committee cannot do the.
Well, they
things
can,
that you're talking
they can
about.
suggest, is what I'm thinking,
They could suggest if we needed new ones.
yeah.
But
And
we
then
would
come
have
and
to
say, we
vote on
need
it, though.
4 new lighted signs deals.
You're gonna have to clearly,
They come and say, we need X amount of dollars for this, this, and that.
you have to.
That's not where we're
What
at.
kind of money we
Agenda.
talking about here?
We're totally off on everything.
Well, we're off here because we want to talk about some Christmas things later
We'll
on.
get to it.
Yeah.
Can we move?
Well,
Yeah,
let's
number
move to
2.
the next discussion.
It's the gas meter at the city gate. Money.
25,000.
And that basically, what it does is it keeps the gas company honest, that pumps natural gas to us. It not only goes through their meter, it goes through ours. And so we we can basically keep that straight, in which generally that probably should happen, you know, just for that part, but it's 25 grand, council.
Do we already have one? Like I did a break?
No.
or- No,
No.
we just don't have one?
No.
So,
We depend on their read completely.
We had one prior down here at the edge of town, but we still had 40 customers and 6 miles of line that was not metered. So, we couldn't keep up, we still couldn't have an accurate, this one, where this one is at would be from me to you from where their meter is at, so we're just that close.
If we decided to do this and have that meter installed, that would directly come out of the gas fund.
Right.
And that would be a council decision.
so you see that as an investment?
Yeah, and it's a new rotary type meter. It would show any kind of a spike. Like if we did have a main break, we could pinpoint when it did it through this meter. So it'll show with the electronics and stuff they've got now.
Does this set us up for the future? When, cause I know you mentioned, automatic meters in the past.
I would say this could have a readout that would, I could talk to David and maybe within this, have it to where it will send the read to City Hall on the 15th of every month.
So,
A
so it does
procedure.
set us up for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
He's got them,
Hey.
they're in there.
Like I said,
Just
with,
kidding.
on the procedure part, I'll let her look at that O&M manual and
Yeah.
it's,
well.
that's the bad thing about our procedures for our gas system. I've tried to get them to do something different. We go by the same procedures that, Spire goes by. You know, which has got offices full of engineers and attorneys and stuff. You know, me and Lana go by the same, we got the same set of rules they've got to go by. You know, and that's,
But do you believe that if we should invest 25,000 in our own meter at the gate or at the start
yes,
to monitor gas coming in as a part of
especially with the gas prices.
procedure?
Because I know,
Do you feel they're not being honest?
do I?
Do you feel their readings aren't good and they're not being honest?
It
Is there
could-
a reason to suspect
If
dishonesty?
there's a
I don't think
loss,
it's
we don't
dishonesty, it
really-
could be in their meter too.
This would be a way to be accountable, hold each other
Yes.
accountable.
And I know at one town, I don't remember, because Jerry was telling me about, they was able to go back on the supplier. And they had to pay
There's several thousands.
several thousands of dollars because they were able to prove that
I don't
they're.
think it would be intentional, but
No, it's,
if something was wrong with their meter. And if I could make a recommendation, my recommendation would be that we're 6 months away from, I'm sorry, 7 months away from a new budget. That this be a new budget item for that fiscal year to include that. That's a pretty large purchase. And I think waiting 6 or 7
Bump it
months
down
would
the
be-
road to the next.
They wouldn't be able to
Fiscal year.
install it this winter anyways, correct?
you know, it'd be a ways out.
Yeah. So it could be something that we can ponder a little more on too.
Or if we get to the end of the budget year cycle and we have the funds available.
We have the funds available now, I say, to amend the budget for that.
Right.
If you remember.
We're just getting into the cold season.
Well, it's just kind of a, I would say, a safety blanket or.
Can we then, Jim, I don't know if we're table, could we address this again
Yeah, and.
at the start of our new
and
fiscal
who knows,
year,
In the,
or budget for the new
the
fiscal
price
year?
of materials could be down. You know, everything is stupid high right now, or it's kind of starting to come back, but, you know, it could be a little less then too. It could be a little more, it could be a little less.
I was all for this until I heard the price.
How do you guys want to proceed on this meter installation? You want to revisit this in the next budget? Or do you want to do something?
I think so.
How far out would they be? I mean, are they 6 months out or are they a year out?
You'd have to catch a lot of mistakes
Probably
to
close
ever
to
pick up that much money.
And it ain't
Jim?
something, you know, just anybody could do.
when you're talking about $25,000, would this meter ever pay for itself? Or are we just basically,
Well,
Uh,
if
it's,
their meter was off, 1,000 decatherm, it'd pay for itself in 1 month.
so that's assuming that for whatever reason, we caught their meter being bad, for whatever the reason, through our new meter. It's a chance we'd be taking that we could possibly save the $25,000 in a month's time.
Yeah, just that quick.
That gas meter, when that gas goes through there, if these new ones, they'll set it up where it'll send you a message and tell you got a broken gas line. And that's.
Because it's showing a
Yes,
spike
it-
somewhere.
If main line, anything breaks,
And that's a
it'll
plus.
send you a message.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's a
wondering if
plus.
it was gonna set us up for that kind of a.
See, that's the deal with the automated, like, I would like to get with the automated meter reading, not through even the fact that our guys not having to go out and do it, but, you can sit here on the computer and just use Danny for an example, say, Danny must be taking a shower. Or Danny can call down here and say, my water bill's a little bit high, and I can look at that, bring it up on the computer and say, on the 15th,
You left your hose
you got
going.
water leak. So that day.
Now, you're talking about on the water side.
Well, you do the
Well,
same
he's just
thing
saying
with the
automated
Okay.
meters.
Automated
Yeah,
meters.
that's why I was asking about setting him up for that, cause I'd like to.
Precise,
Yeah.
yet they don't have it down as tight as they do the
Well, it
water.
saved a lot of man hours.
But
But within a 24-hour period on
Right.
gas. The water, they could
with the seconds.
I'd like to see that when we get our water system.
Well, I'd like to
Yeah.
make a motion that we postpone this discussion on the new gas meter to, mid-May, before we set our budget for the next fiscal.
And I can check with David and see how far they're out anyhow.
Got a motion on the floor.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second to revisit the gate meter, in the mid-May, and revisit the possibilities of adding it to our new budget. All those in favor? 3-0. Thank you, Jim. Live streaming the council meeting update. Help me, Lana.
hear the live stream. We've been adjusting throughout the meeting. Now we've been adjusting the sound
Okay,
and so, yeah.
everybody at the council, just make sure your bikes are always on.
We'll make some adjustments.
There will be, there is one thing, do we want this to go to YouTube and be, in a spot that you could, like, go to it and bring it up and watch it, or live stream? Is it better to be taped and then watched or live streamed? I don't have a,
What are
It
we live
just-
streaming through? Is it on our website?
well, it's going to YouTube, and then I think it's not posted. She's just testing.
We had talked like.
What do you think?
We had talked like we were gonna record it and then put it on YouTube later, like the next day is what we
What do
had
you think?
discussed.
That's what we discussed.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we have discussed that.
Is it live streaming on our website, or is it live streaming too?
I think it's going to YouTube, and then you can pull it off of
What-
YouTube.
What we had discussed, it wasn't gonna be a live stream. It was gonna be recorded and then uploaded to YouTube to view the next day.
On our website, city website.
City web, well, we were talking like YouTube.
Well, I know a lot of other cities, literally, it comes up, I get a notification on Facebook, to like Joplin City Council is in meeting, and I
Yeah.
can sit right there and watch the Joplin City Council meeting in progress.
So
Martin?
this thing here is your new setup there.
Right,
You
that is
didn't-
right.
You didn't tweak the $4,900 and give more than 3K audio. This is essentially.
Well, we'll look at it and see what we think, and when, will that be available to look at?
I think the show is also done live.
It is.
So this is not really a live stream just yet.
Tonight, not tonight, it's going to YouTube.
Okay, so this is an archival thing as well, correct?
Could be, yes.
It
Right
seems
now,
like
they're
to be
just
effective,
trying.
it needs to be like that
I guess I
notification,
understood
so
that.
people will be aware that like it's live streaming and what time it started.
We haven't done that that's.
So will we have a link on our website that'll take them? Okay.
So I guess the question here is, yeah, we are moving forward on this, and it's,
Good.
it's in the May, probably, next meeting. We ought to be able to put some advertisement out that is available and such. Am I right? I'm speaking out of turn here.
If we do live streaming, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions on that part? Any questions on that part? Okay. All right, moving on.
Wait.
We had discussed the recording and putting it up the next day is what we had discussed all along. That's what we had discussed all along, unless somebody wants it different.
It doesn't matter to me, you know, as long as people have.
Yeah,
I think if you take it and record it and then immediately put it up the next day or to our website, I think it gives everybody the opportunity to look at the meeting and observe it. I don't know that.
and if it's
live
recorded,
stream-
you
I
can
don't
look at it.
know. They say that the YouTube thing is better.
So I have it.
It's cheap.
I believe YouTube, the way YouTube live streaming works is, like, you live stream it and it will automatically save it as an archive video, and then go watch it later. So you can do both at the same time.
And it'll keep a track of how many actually view it, correct?
So this can be downloaded, say tomorrow, for the portion on this?
Lana, I don't know the answer to that. Yes.
What, yeah, what is it, was it recording at? Is it recording at four? Okay, it's recording probably less than 1,000, not 4K or anything like that, and the audio will be okay then.
I just don't know the answer to that.
Well, I mean, you've had this thing up here for 6, 7 years. The one asked Tony the other day is why I could just put a $30 Logitech out here, which would have about.
But we
Well-
have it covered now.
Hmm?
We have it
Yeah,
covered now.
this is a lot.
So
Let's note that we are going to record and upload to YouTube our meetings.
All right.
Do we need to vote on that?
Yeah, probably have it come in.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to record and upload, record to YouTube and upload to our website. Is that correct? Is that the motion,
Yes, sir.
Lori? Second?
Now second that.
A motion and second to take our feed to YouTube and then upload to our website. All's in favor? 3-0. All right. I'm like we're making a little progress with that. Discussion, the discussion is to have a committee revise the employee handbook. And of course, I have come out against the committee part, even though I do agree that there's parts of the manual that needs to be adjusted. I believe the council has a manual in front of them. Take it home and read it, make notes and comments, and then let's look at those issues instead of reinventing the wheel. I got any questions?
When would you like to have this done?
Don't you think that everybody has a chance to look at that? It could probably come back to our next meeting, or,
I would say the January meeting would be
okay.
for our December.
That would give everybody a chance to look at it, read it, underline a few things, highlight a few things, and make some comments about the manual itself. All right. So,
I'll make a motion that we postpone this to revise the employee handbook to a January meeting.
okay. A second?
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second to take the employee procedure manual, the council review it, and bring comments back to the January meeting for a discussion. All those in favor? 3-0. Thanks, council. The resolution to go into 2 council meetings per month starting January is somewhere here. We have that resolution in our, you got it, okay. Can you read that?
A resolution of the City of Granby, Missouri regarding the temporary change in dates and times of city council meetings. Whereas Board of Aldermen, together with Mayor Ira Hawkins, have determined that due to COVID-19 cases in southwest Missouri, no longer posing a serious threat, that returning to 2 meetings a month is in the best interest of the citizens of the City of Granby. Whereas the Board of Aldermen, together with Mayor Ira Hawkins, have determined that holding 2 meetings per month on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. beginning January 10th, 2023 is in the best interest of the citizens of the City of Granby. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Granby that all of the resolutions in conflict herewith are provided to people.
We can just okay that. Doesn't need to be read again.
I move that we approve this resolution as written.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to approve this resolution as it's stated. All those in favor? 3-0. All right. Okay, new business, bills to pay and balances on hand.
Why do we buy diesel at Clicks? Do you know?
Pardon me.
Why do we buy diesel there?
Joe Biden for his truck. I'm assuming it's probably diesel in the trailers and some dumps with police. Now he did. That's what I think, 'cause that's what it's in. He's got trailers and stuff. Any questions, council, on anything that has to do with the expenses or the, I like this, transaction list, real well. Did you come up with that, Maureen, or Mona,
I
somebody?
requested it, yes.
It does look good. You guys, had a chance to take a look at the, collector's report. Am I reading this right? There is a difference in number from September to October.
There were some grant funds received from the EPA for some repairs to some of the cities.
Okay.
Yeah, on the street. Yeah. That's for the repairs on South Main, and they're building a culvert type bridge down here on Vance Street, so that when it does flood, the people on Vance Street can get out.
That's $195,000.
Yeah, $195,000. It's part of the
Yeah, I had an increase.
flood.
Jim, I just got a general
Even
question.
no gas. Even the gas stations don't have gas.
Is, when it comes to houses, is Granby seem to be growing some, or are we losing?
Right now, we've got, 4 new houses being built right now. Mark Bettis bought some property up on East Cherry Street. He's already got 1 new house. He tore down 1 house and rebuilt one there. He's got another house that's about completed, that's already sold. His son is moving from, sold his house and he's building a new house there. He's got plans to build five houses there. And then, Ron Johnson past Vista Lane, I think he's got, 4 lots, I believe, that he's on 60 highway frontage. It's gonna be developed, he's already started building a new house there.
So there are projects that are ongoing. The builders seem to be interested in building in town.
Rebuilt for fire. Oh, yeah, well, what if my grandparents' house was tore down?
So there were existing properties, buildings on it, and they've been torn down, or?
Well, not these, but one Jacob's talking about, which is behind Snack Attack, it's on a separate lot than where the old house used to be. So they've got plans to build 1 or 2 more there on that too.
And
Well,
how How do they get utilities to those? Do they, what's that procedure?
They'll come down and fill out an application for services.
And does the city pay for that, or does the landowner
For,
to run water line and sewer lines?
the homeowner is responsible for the sewer, and, the city, we do, charge materials. Well, yeah, to the meter.
And if it's a new build, there's a $50 sewer inspection connection fee, and Victor Williams go down and inspect the sewer connection.
I was just interested in the activity. It just seemed like there's activity going on in town. And my hopes and dreams is that some of the lots will empty and houses be built there. It's just
And
draining.
for quite a while, I've noticed on my monthly report, you know, we have more new customer sets than we have.
Disconnect.
Disconnects. We're having more connects than disconnects.
Yep.
So that's, you know what I mean, and if you look at any of the Facebook groups or anything, everybody's looking for a house to rent. Somebody always looking for a
Yep.
place to rent.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah, I agree. Jane?
I have one question on the budget. It says on our municipal court fines, we have not brought in any revenue from that at all. Why do we not have anything?
Oh, we actually have, so the court system has gone through Southwest Missouri Courts, SMC. Excuse me, they have a new finance system, and we are doing an online training on that Monday the 21st. So it looks like we haven't.
Is there
brought in-
money like
we
in
do
limbo
in the bank.
somewhere?
Okay.
I'm sorry?
Is there money like in limbo there some
No,
way?
well, it's in the bank account, we just have to process it.
The system,
To a check out of
okay.
that account to the city,
I see.
so,
Okay.
training is Monday.
Gotcha.
Since this is on this collector's report about business licenses and permits, I was asked by a citizen to, when, Beth got her license, she requested a license and got that. When a business changes hands, do they need to get a new license?
The license needs to be So when we sold Rock and Pete,
Mm-hmm.
then it was up to Aaron to get a license issued to him. He couldn't just work on it.
Okay, because you might let Kelsey know that,
well, that license is, Simple Simons.
but it's a new owner.
It's a license, it's a franchise. So the license is in Simple Simons name, I believe. I think franchise would probably be,
I don't know how that necessarily would
so
work.
they go remote,
Well,
I mean.
it was brought to my attention, so I said I would ask.
So when a
Yeah.
new business license is issued, they have to bring in proof of new sales tax due to the state before we issue that. I assume that Simple Simon regulates that themselves, but, I'll look into it and then I'll call Kelsey.
Yeah, cause I know, cause, you know, I mean, people approach.
Is she like taking over the ownership? Is that
She's
what it is?
managing.
Managing,
People approach them about donations and
but
stuff,
Matt
they can't do that.
bought it.
They're, because of the franchise.
Okay.
He,
I just didn't know how
So
it worked, and I was questioning,
the
so I thought I'd
license is
ask.
with
I'll ask.
Simple Simon
Because my understanding,
and Mandy
the
and
new owners
such.
would need to, but.
that's what I
What he's
thought.
saying is he thinks it might be
Tuesday,
all
you know, it's in-
franchise, that it's Simple
Oh.
Simon, but I don't know.
Just when they're looking at us,
Because if
so.
they've changed, then it's the same owner technically of the other.
I see.
Do they do that just by going to City Hall, or do they have to come in front of council to do that?
Well, I was trying to think of another incident. I can't think of any that has done that. What about like your snack attack or,
Aaron
you
came
know,
on the first one.
Aaron did come here.
Right.
I didn't know if they had.
But he
that
was
basically set
buying
up.
the entire business. It wasn't like just transferring managership. So as long as, I don't know there, Simple Simons is owned actually by Simple Simons, but the franchisee owner would be Matt.
Yeah, he owns the building, but, yeah, that's.
Maybe, I don't know, what would be what would be necessary for the business, a new business license that you can see, Lorraine?
I was just asking because somebody had approached me about it, so
Just general.
inquiry,
Okay.
yeah.
I see.
They're renewable, December 31st or January 1st, and it's $10, so, I mean, it's not that that way we have one, the new owners thing too.
I make a motion that we accept the bills to pay and balances on hand.
Motion second, to accept the bills, balances, all those in favor? 3-0. Department head reports, had a chance to take a look at those.
Chief, I'm glad to see that you guys are moving forward on cleaning up some of the properties. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I see, I see in the recycle department, there's an RV trailer there. It did belong to Martin, that needs to be removed. What's going on with that? Martin, do you have a comment on an old trailer that's in there?
Well, what happened was falsely listed for something in August 2019. Went ahead, people illegally bulldozed down some of my properties. And pretty well, what happened was me and Jacob came to an agreement that they go ahead and take down that old house, the old Sunny house. They go ahead and go ahead and tear apart the aluminum portion of where we moved in, and then if I liked what he did, I'd go ahead and let him tear off another crappy portion of the building. And then it went to in front of Wedgie Card, and oh, no, we can't have that here, so we're not gonna go ahead and spend a penny. Anyway, recently Jacob came, says, well, is the deal still on? And I said, yeah, sure, you tear down some of the stuff at your expense, at Granby's expense.
Well, I don't know.
We'll bulldoze it, and pretty well, and you go ahead, I mean,
The old camper trailer that's on the side somewhere, which needs destroyed.
what I would prefer is simply, since you guys went ahead when you went illegally bulldozing, I just assume you just go ahead and take it out to the church property east of town. And just,
Is that where you're living right now?
where I'm living, well, no, that's my sister's property, but next door to it is a church property down the bottom.
You want
I just
over there?
assume have that, because pretty well, you guys.
Is it movable?
No, after they went ahead, took a forklift or something like that, put it on a trailer, and then drove it down to the dump here. Pretty well, it's not even, I don't think it's safely, won't even towable here, even remotely. So pretty well, just simply.
It's just trash then, am I right?
No, I'd say that, someone's gonna live in it who came down to visit, and we moved about 2.5 bags of rat shit out of it. But in any case, yeah, it's sort of fixable, in a rather sort of dim sort of way.
Is it
But I
possible,
would-
is it possible, Jim, for that to be moved to his property?
To the
No.
church property. Why not?
There'd be stuff strung from here to there.
It just had to be drugged.
No, not.
Am I right?
Put on a trailer.
Oh,
You guys put it on a trailer to remove it from where it belongs, so I don't see why you can't just.
So you think it can be picked up again?
I think it came in if we picked
I don't
it
know
up.
what we do with that.
Well,
or why it's even there.
Try.
Well.
You can't be liable for those damages, though.
Mhm.
So,
It needs to disappear from the recycle center.
well, and I appreciate you asking for Martin's input on this, but legally, he had well over 30 days to come down to the recycle center and claim it and haul it off if he wanted.
So he doesn't own it anymore.
It's up to the city.
No, I
to decide
didn't
what
own
to do
it.
at this point.
It was given to me by
Okay.
some guy who I think is dead. Pretty well.
He requested one trailer back and we took it back,
Okay.
the little trailer.
I've never seen that either. I wonder what happened, yeah.
We took it back to you.
Okay, so where is it?
That I don't know.
That
it doesn't need to be at the recycle. It's been way past its time limit.
Yeah, well, I mean, what happens if you guys illegally without a court order
Well,
bulldoze on my property? I'm still wanting to bulldoze down this city hall for the
Well,
return. But
well.
in this case,
Mark,
what I would like, if you're talking about that trailer, is that, hey, against my will, you guys went ahead, unlawfully, picked it up, put it on a trailer and took it down there. I'm just simply asking, go ahead, pick it up, put it on a trailer, and move it out to my church property. You know, pretty well it can be towed because. I think-
your expense?
No, I mean, you guys went ahead and removed it. You guys went ahead and unlawfully removed it, you know, feloniously and criminally here to your dump here. I want you to just simply move it from your dump to my church property at your expense.
We'll look into the
Yeah.
legalities of that.
let's take a look at it. We'll take a look at it and get back with you on it.
What is your
Joe, is that
suggestion?
all right?
Well, I mean, it's been there 3 or 4 years, so.
It's been vacated.
But, the tires, everything's dry rotted off. I mean, so somebody's gonna have the expense to put tires on it, to move it.
Unless you put it on a trailer.
Unless you put it on a trailer, and I don't know how that's possible. Even if me and Jim had 2 backhoes, I think it would smash it. Cause I think it's warped and bent.
Can you-
It's been down there for plenty of
Really?
time, it's had more than ample opportunity.
Can you get a ruling from Judge White?
He can come get it if he wants, he obviously wants us to transport it, he's willing to come get it, it's abandoned property.
Well, I can't.
Can we run this through Judge White? Or does it need to be?
It's already been
Yeah,
ran
all
through.
that stuff's already over with.
This is what,
There was no court.
So was there a ruling?
Bulldozed on my property.
What was the ruling?
That's.
He had 30 days to,
Yeah,
This
it
right
should be in that paperwork.
yeah, it's right here.
really,
The property, and then that didn't occur, so then they moved it. This is what they were supposed to perform.
How did you move it from where it was to the dump?
Carefully.
yeah.
So what to do? I mean.
Okay,
Well, that was after, what happened, we was gone by.
we're still in the department head reports right now, aren't we?
Want me to make a motion?
Yeah, we just go stop the conversation, it's not going anywhere.
Guys, this is a completely different topic, and we're on to department head reports. I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we accept the department head reports as written.
Second.
I got a second, motion and a second to, accept the department head, reports. All those in favor? 3-0. All right. Parks Director, come on up. Gonna talk about the Christmas festival and the community building rates and on here and employee hours and duties and such.
Okay, so the Christmas festival, that's been helter-skelter when, like anything, if you've got volunteers or committee or people that all of a sudden they're not involved
In
anymore.
and then they stop.
So, trying to salvage it the best we can. I think we have everything to move forward with it there's me, there's Doreen, there's Kelsey, the Klauses, Todd, his family, and, McGee's, and there's several. East Newton United, First Baptist, there's a whole bunch of us. So we're doing our best to throw it together. I think we're gonna have it done, have an itinerary out ASAP, tomorrow maybe. Only thing we lack is a Santa, because coming into this late, everybody's booked up. Our old Santa that we always have, he's crippled for some reason. He got hit by reindeer and had to have surgery.
Oh, he's a
being
good one.
it's a shoulder and a wrist, he really can't hold kids. And so, I don't know. Bill, Ira, Victor,
Victor. Victor.
I'm scrambling and everybody I call or I visit is booked or doing something.
What about Tim? What about Tim?
Tim?
Tim's
Frantic panic.
So, everything's gonna come out and be all right, you know, we're gonna survive. We just
But there
gotta
really
find a
needs to,
setup. There has to be a
and
setup.
I know you can hire them, but
I've been trying to hire him.
My
I pay
neighbor
for
looks
him
like
myself.
Santa Claus. You can ask him. He just moved to our town.
Ray Thompson.
Give me a name and number.
I don't have a name and number.
He loves kids.
Oh,
He
yeah.
actually loves kids.
I've gotta find somebody fast.
I don't know how we do it.
I Joe, let me ask him, that neighbor guy. I mean, I may not be game
Yeah.
for it, but
okay,
he's
we'll
real
try to
nice.
help you find
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, we'll work
You know,
it out.
and then we'll go, we're talking about committees and different things around town that fall apart. Things that are community events like this, or, kind of what Todd's built the Halloween into, or the different things like with OMT, Old Mine Town Days. Really, it falls back on any of us in leadership. And so, you know, Lana's stepped up, and even though driving all the way from over there where she lives now to here, she's offered that her and David will try to help run events and things that day, you know, for the kids and for our community. So, you know, I'm thankful for things like that. You know, we have employees, and Tim always running the parades and doing the things, Jim's crew getting out and setting up and hammering all those Christmas trees in at time to time, or putting that big tree up. So, you know, it really does.
Yeah.
It does, and the community doesn't always see those things, those little things we do when they ride our rear end about something else. But, you know, we all mean well. So, I think for
What about
Santa Claus,
civic organizations like Boy Scouts and
Boy Scouts will be involved also. They have,
that and the children, but I'm talking about organizations that would help, like Lions Club, or isn't there others that
Well,
that either
I reach out from
civic
time
people?
to time for certain events, different things. I use different organizations for. Try not to wear everybody out. So some of the things on this one, I'll have a lot more of the high school clubs involved with, and of course their youth, and they're gonna have lots of energy. And so you know, that will help run all over town, because our sites will not only just be at the community building, it'll also be at First Baptist Church with Pancake Feed that morning. You know, it opens up that way. And Eastern United's gonna be in the school gym there. So we have things around town where us that are in the planning stages will be bouncing around. So having those other people to lean on, is gonna be nice.
So the market's gonna be up there
At
at
the
the school this
school.
time?
Mhm.
Is there something in the gym?
We're gonna have games and events and gingerbread house making and judging and things like that.
community building and the gym?
Yes, the whole thing's gonna be crawling with people. Every door you walk through, but.
What about your sleigh rides and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I've
Didn't somebody
got,
have a carriage
You
one
can't have a
time?
sleigh ride without snow. And so Scott Morehouse will be
I
here.
meant the carriage.
Yeah, he'll be here with his carriage and his horses, and he'll be giving rides. So, yeah, we'll have that.
Is that for a fee or is that just donated?
Free,
Oh, good.
yeah.
What about the parade?
Yep, 6 o'clock parade, 5:15 lineup, in the school parking lot.
What do? We just basically just come and get it? Is that what we do on
That's
the
right,
parade,
we'll
or
be
we invite
contacting,
people?
I've already invited almost 30 people personally. They'll do like any of our parades, they'll show up down there and line up, you know, we'll have somebody putting them in a lineup. Mark Turner said he would do our MC work out here, so we'll get him some type of sound system and a speaker. We'll get him a list, send him down the road, see if Jake can help us crossing 60, and off we go. So,
Any other questions on festival?
and I have a crew that's building us a float for Santa Claus if we find one. It's called the Peppermint Express. So Santa Claus will get to ride on that and throw peppermints everywhere.
Well, now you can run tradition.
Then he raises the fire truck, doesn't he?
Well,
Yeah, he's rode the fire truck
You
for
can't do that.
100 years, for 50
Yes.
years that I can
I know
remember, he's
a
been on the
Santa.
fire truck.
Who's that?
It's the guy I went to school with. Remember Steve Wall?
Yeah.
He does Santa.
Does he?
let's
Is
get
he
a hold of
free?
Steve.
I
December
don't
10th?
know. I'm sure he's not free, but,
Free
I meant
date
available.
oh, that I don't know.
and free.
So you guys have a suit and everything too for them
What's
already?
the
You have
date?
to have somebody with a
I'll
suit.
have-
December 10th.
David has one, but the one the city had for years.
Okay. I guess I could, but I'm
It
gonna have to
tie-
bring
it
my
ties
full
you
wheel.
up.
Yeah.
It really ties you.
Yeah.
That kicks me out, I'm too fat.
Community building, Annex Hall especially, there. I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but I feel like that needs to bump up a little bit. I visited with, people about rates and things. I increased it from 35 to 50 once upon a time. I would like to increase that building to $75, that room. 150 for an all-day event. When you visit Lampo or even Fairview over there, some of these other places, they're renting their places, Mark Springs, for more money than we are. And yeah, it's an all-day booking, but still per hour, this is dimes to the dollar versus what you pay somewhere else. And most everybody, even this weekend, I just wanted to bounce things off people who are using it. They had no problem $50 for that little room downstairs. Hole in the wall there, works great, straight out to the park, birthday parties. We booked it twice through this weekend. Annex Hall, with Jim's building being tore off from the old building, that parking helps. That thing's always busy through the holidays and most of the time throughout the year. It's hard to just call and say, hey, I wanna use this week. So I do think that $100 or $150 for that on a way I've written it down on a 5-hour window, I think that's too much. But I don't think 75 is. You break down that by the hour, and then you've got me or somebody coming back and forth in between parties to clean bathrooms. You still gotta pay for that labor somewhere. And so, time and fuel and gas and somebody running around is also figured in, just not, because none of us live right here on top of this, where we could just walk there.
And utility increases.
Yeah, I mean, the gas alone this winter, that the gym itself always has, it's gonna be better now that we've tightened it up, but we still have the openings right there that lead to the stage. And so, and that ceiling.
Which need doors.
Ceiling, yes, and the ceiling, or if we don't put the doors, we still gotta finish the ceiling there on that drop ceiling on the back. Otherwise, the heat's gonna keep going out the wall.
I think pretty quickly before the real cold temperatures, probably putting some type of doors in each end would at least
Well, I was gonna hang a curtain for a
contain
short time or something.
everything to the inside.
Yeah, I was gonna do something.
And I think we should make a big difference because I think we're losing a lot of heat and air through this
Right,
ceiling.
that's where it,
Thanks,
that's where it
guys.
goes. So that's 12 foot up there, I think, Jim, is that right, on that drop ceiling? Is that right? So it's not like you just run up with a ladder, and a couple of guys can hand stuff to each other.
But right now, what you're asking is, you got a $50 rental for the downstairs, but we can consider
50's
the
fine, but the annex
75,
hall,
75
Yeah.
to the community building, and what about the gym?
gym, the parties in the gym, and I've rented it, just the gym. Nobody ever balks at the 50. I think the 50 stays there because you limit yourself to where if you say, hey, we want just the gym, you're just gonna do some running around circles and play some ball and
You just wanna raise,
be there 2 or 3
you
hours.
wanna raise the rate on the community
in
building,
the annex.
$25.
Yeah, because it's used a lot. And so, not to make any more money off anybody, but the rates, the time, and I can kick the people who say, oh, 75 is too much, but I only have a party of 20 people. I can kick them down to that and start utilizing it more. People with the bigger parties use that bigger.
Council, I think you know what he's asking for. Do you wanna make some kind of a motion or comment or on that? What do you think? Yeah, I mean, these are people that you represent. $25 okay?
I don't think 75 is too high.
Yeah.
I think if you go to any place around, they're higher than that.
Well, they also like, you can get charged $100 for your setup fee, and you don't get that back, and then 200 for your rental. Get an all-day deal, but you got $300 tied up in a building that size.
Is that what they rent for, is an all-day?
You
Most
can't.
of them?
Some of them, not all of them.
We're doing,
So if I'm comparing it to
5
Toledo
hours.
shows, yeah. But if you could take with what Granby has, that's a nice amenity to have here in town.
The gym at Carterville, whenever the volleyball people use it, they charge $30 an hour. That's just for that gym
Yeah,
to use it, and that's also the concession area and whatever you wanna do.
right.
So they can turn out to be quite a little bit of money
Yeah.
in say a 10-hour
Well, and
day.
people in the gym, like the homeschool association wants to have some basketball games in
Yeah.
there. They can always, you know, if they recover their money, they can always put a hat out there or something,
Yeah.
or pass a hat, and, you know, pay for the rent of the place. And that's what they've done sometimes before. And they're also good, they've got a lot of people that can fix things, and they've always came in and helped do some little nicks and nacks.
Yeah. You still have the basketball league, the basketball league in there, the
Well,
practice.
that always hits about December. And so they've not mentioned much about it, and so I would say when they need me, they'll start hollering. And so if it's available, it's available. If it's not, it's not. My duty will be to rent the building.
Would you say that it's mainly citizens that rent it, or any, like, more outside people? Like, what would you
Yeah,
say?
I would say there's as many people from outside town that use our building than there is inside of town.
Okay.
Yeah. Party I just had here on the weekend, one of them, they were all from, Show and Goodman. They'd called around looking for a place, and then they had a little birthday party here, and they liked the fact they had a little park here, 25 people, it worked out well for them.
Well, and stop me if I'm off base, I like to help our citizens as much as possible. I do like to see people come in from the outside, but would there be a possibility where we could offer a lower rate to the citizens and a higher rate to the outside? I know that sounds, I just think it's an amenity that it'd be nice to keep at a very affordable rate for our people.
Well, I do feel 75 is affordable. I had some other projections, that I got some negative feedback on, and we looked it over and kept playing over in my brain over and over and over. For what it cost a kid at McDonald's, hiring at 14, 15, 16 bucks on some of these deals, when I took it over at 35, 35 got you all day. I broke it into 50, half a day, 5 hours a piece, and probably
Had to
gained.
slow down any.
No, never did. Now we're renting out 3 rooms, 2 most of the time. I don't feel 75 is too much. I mean, a wedding venue, visitations, different things we use it for. Wedding venues anywhere gonna cost you $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. And I've got one of them booked if rates don't change much, for April. And so, people, they call other towns if they're in the vicinity of the area and they look for things.
I realize this isn't about me, but if I rented that today for the December, is that $50 rate or the $75 rate?
50.
Yeah, 'cause I got it for the first, so.
What rate
at
is that?
$50.
I know what I think too, I got it for Sunday.
Yeah. It would be after the first of the year,
Well,
The Lampo building's $100.
yeah.
I don't think you recoup all of utilities in those buildings, but I think you recoup a lot of them, and it is an amenity to the community.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if we stay 50, it doesn't hurt me, I just want you guys to know, what's going on, and I've got the old calendars in there that, showed through the years of just, you look through where all the handwritten stuff is.
How do you determine who is in city limits?
I
and
don't,
not,
that would be hard, because,
gas bill?
yeah,
Just like we do
utility
everything
bill.
else.
Yeah,
That's our-
utility.
You'd have to have a
Pay the
utility bill, then they would say, that's my grandma renting it, and they'd have the grandma come do it,
Well, then at least it's rented.
yeah. But, yeah.
I don't know, I was just thinking, cause I mean, as citizens, we do, we pay personal property taxes,
But-
we pay for.
I don't.
To back
I'm
up
not
here
sure
before
that
I get the
75
horse
would offend
ahead of the
anybody,
cart.
do you?
They pay a $25 cash fee.
Poor single mom.
Mhm.
That's what I was a poor single mom for 10 years, and I know that
Every dollar.
every dollar counts.
There's a
sometimes. That's
$25
just me.
cash security deposit that they pay anyway to hold that fee, to hold that rental. Because if they've got a check, they can always cancel on you, and you lose that rental if all of a sudden they back out at the last minute. Seldom has that ever happened, and sometimes people that's rented it 2 or 3 times this year already, or that live here in town that I know, and they're coming back again and again and again, sometimes that 25, I've waived that to keep that building busy. And then it just makes it less paperwork for us here in the office to turn around and give somebody back $25 the next week.
I'm trying to think of how it would affect a person that basically is having difficulty coming up with the dollars. You're always gonna have a $50 rate in the bottom part. It would just be the large hall.
Just be that annex hall.
And there would be ability to probably pass the hat and make the most of that back. Am I right?
Well, like a family
Would you ever wanna
reunion,
do that?
if you had 10 adults, give you $7.50, but yet there's 80 people that showed up, you know. But, I mean, that's up to you guys, I don't,
That's a council decision. I've got
I'm
more
just
than
trying to
you.
keep up with the cost.
But that is a council decision. I think $50 downstairs, $75 at the community building, and $50 in the gym is probably doable for most people that would probably rent. That's just my opinion, and I'll do whatever the council wants to do on that.
What's your guys' opinion?
Are you talking about different rates for different sizes here?
Just the one room, just the annex hall.
Okay, you're not talking about the gymnasium.
The gym and the senior center, the annex 2 would stay the same.
I'm gonna make a comment, this is off the subject here a little bit, so just bear with me just a little bit. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong here, but doesn't Wheaton have some kind of an event that everything is just free? The carnival and everything, does anybody know this?
No.
I've heard this,
No, it's not free.
okay,
Well, they buy armbands for the little carnival.
at Wheaton,
Uh-huh.
okay. What do you guys
Well, I
think
mean,
about this?
you know, if you talk about it that way, you've got the option, if you can't afford the 75, you can go with the 50 for the bottom or the 50 for the
If it's
top.
just
So
like a
there's
kid's
opportunity,
party.
there's options there, so I mean, if
But we
that's-
just gave a complete stranger access every Friday to a building that we would be renting for $50. So where's the difference there?
You're serving your community by offering AA meetings for the people who struggle, and Lord knows we have a few.
They used that building
Thank you.
before the remodel for AA meetings down there prior to.
Thank you,
They've
Sal.
been looking for a place, I know they have, and I understand their dilemma on the, you know, choosing a place that is neutral grounds. I get it, I've lived with that before, so that's.
And I don't want to negate Granby people or our hometown people, but I mean, just like when gas and water and things go up and there are other expenses and groceries, I mean, the guy has to find a way to survive. That is something that's, you know, not a necessity to them sometimes, but when it does become that, I've noticed before, just like school lunches, people come up with the money somehow.
Do we rent or lease or whatever you call it, the pavilion?
The pavilion, I don't do anything like that in any of the parks.
Okay,
It's
so
first
they're
come,
free.
First come, first served, and that's always an option when we talk about things. Then they say, well, I want the community building if it gets rained out. Well, then-
Could you
then
book
we-
the
then we talk about-
pavilions?
That would be super hard, and it would take extra stress from the police, because somebody comes in there and blocks it off with tape or something that some kid
And then
and
somebody else wants
motorcycle
to
club
come in.
comes through and rips it all up, and
See, it's like, the ocean does that with Morris Park. Jamie had one of the pavilions over there rented for her son's birthday party. She gets over there, some guy's setting up bounce houses and music equipment where she's got it rented.
They double booked it.
No.
No, they didn't get
It's set
permission.
up.
they just take over.
Oh, they just went in on their own.
Yeah.
Perks
And
are
that's the
usually
problem
free.
with wide open spaces like that.
I mean, you got a 7-year-old kid that's 6 foot tall, they left.
Well, I mean, I get it. I mean, if there is other options, so bumping that one up is,
It's just, it takes so
Not
much
nice.
extra time to work on that because it accommodates them 70 and 80 and 90 people. And then
It
you've
is.
got a lot more tear down set up.
Is working these weekends part of what you do, or is
Yeah.
that part of your helper does?
He
or
does,
what?
I'll like not working somewhere through the week, so I have that extra 3 hours to throw at him on Saturday or Sunday if I need him. Otherwise, I try to be here.
How many hours does he work?
19 to 20, 21 to at the most.
How many hours do you work?
700, no. Probably,
Like a week?
let's say an average week's 40, 45 right now. Summertime will be.
Part of that is at, what, at the recycle center, or is it part of that up here? or-
Everywhere, yeah, I was here Friday when nobody else had, was here. And so, I don't know, I don't go back home and do my things until I know when I lay down at night. It's done here. I mean, every Wednesday I work till dark. Most of you guys don't know that. I don't get into the recycle center probably 6:30, 7 o'clock, cause I start pulling trailers because the recycle's grown so much with those trailers. Those businesses that we oversee went from 12 to 29 businesses. And so I start those loads on Wednesday nights to the O show.
So you work late?
I go
on
pull
some
those
of
loads,
those.
so the O show comes in the morning and they can start.
Do you still drive the bus?
Yeah,
That's morning and evening?
yeah.
Do you go to any of the events?
At school events,
Yeah.
I'm missing my daughter's ball
Well, what I
game.
mean is, do you drive a bus to any of the events?
Oh, no, no
Okay.
way. Nope, I come back here or take care of business wherever it is.
Did you have a comment about hours or something?
Yes, so where are we at? Festival rates?
Should we make a motion on the annex building first before we move on?
I think we probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I move that we bump the annex building up to $75.
Entertain a second.
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second to increase the rate on the, the annex or the community building, from $50 to $75. All's in favor? 3-0. All right, was there any other questions? Joe?
Now
you
we're
have
on
any?
employee hours.
No.
Employee hours, yeah.
Of course, beggars can't be choosers on things. I'm extremely thankful for having Cliff for what I have him for. But there's also, I mean, I don't know how I survived before, and leaning on him like I lean on him, we still stay busy, super busy. One day I didn't hardly take a drink and stop, and he shows up at 1 o'clock, and when it shows up, I didn't realize it was 1 o'clock. Just chasing yourself, trying to get everything done. I have constant trailer repairs with lighting that I used to dump off on Tim nonstop. I have constant, when we use the buildings a lot in the wintertime with the seasons and the holidays, there's always extra trash pickup everywhere else. We have to chain the trash cans down at Dick Smith Park because the kids
Walk away.
play with them for some reason. I mean, I never played with a trash can. But
They stand on them.
Yeah, they stand on them, they cave them in, they do things with them. So, yeah, so there's lots of extra little tiny things that I would like to utilize that extra 40, 50 steps here, here, and here on him, so I can stay focused on everything else, and bump him up another 6, 8 hours. Keep him under 30, but he is cheap because of his age and not needing the insurance. He's still at the 11, 15, is that what it is, Lana?
11, 15,
And so, but it's also something, he doesn't want 40 hours, he doesn't want 35 hours. But he's willing to help me,
So what was you wanting to bump him up for
30
specifically?
or less.
I mean, for what duty?
Some of the same things he's still doing, but we've gotta take better care, so then me and Jim, when he can't, or I can't, or he can and I can't with the trash cans, I've gotta assign that to him. Somebody go down there and lock them, get them out the street, get them dumped, switch them out, tan them back up.
And then same thing here. We got those two up here that get drug off the side and chased away. And we don't even walk this park or Veterans Park or Dick Smith Park much because Jim's crew tries out too. There's always trash blowing around and I hate that. One of Cliff's jobs every day when he shows up, first thing he needs to do is grab his little trash picker up, run a bucket, and he walks the recycle. Just because of the trash that blows out with the recycle, it gets caught in the brush. We need to do a better job of that at ballpark, here at the Veterans and Dick Smith, because your eye's on, you also see the little things we talked about a while ago, and all of a sudden, oh, that's been dripping water for 6 weeks and nobody knew it. Something like that. And so, he's been a great asset to me, and, I mean, he'll make you dump all your trash bags out in front of him if he thinks that you've got a can in there he can hear rattling, and he'll sort through it. And that's helped. My weights have went up. I've got some weights. that
Have
went
you
up there.
shown increase in the recycle?
I've shown an increase, I believe, of course, without doing totals, just in the month or two he's been here, I can see when I haul that in, and I think I put that in one of your reports, maybe, I may not have. But where our averages have changed and moved. He also goes to school as a volunteer, and he brings their cardboard from the high school back to me after ball games up there. He goes out and stands by the concession stand and breaks down the cardboard and hauls it back. So he takes pride in what he's doing. Yeah, off the clock. And he's a good volunteer. He's somebody that likes to serve his community.
So what you're asking for, basically what I'm hearing is, to increase Cliff's hours, add 8 hours. Lana, that's a budgetary deal. What do you see in that?
Well, anybody who uses general fund knows that I fight tooth and nail to not increase the expenses of the general fund. And that was the one comment that Blake had was that we ended in the general fund's deficit because our expenses are.
We spent more in general fund than we had.
It funds fire department, it's made up excess in Joe's wages that Region M cut, and then the police department. I mean, general funds just really stretched thin, so, I'm sorry, Joe, my comment is always when it's general fund monies, if we can find those funds somewhere else, I'm more than happy to be. He's a great guy, he's always working hard, every time I see him, I just always hesitate to spend those general fund monies.
So that increase of 8 hours, that would put him eligible for insurance, but he would have to sign a waiver
He
saying
already
he doesn't
signed.
want it. He already
Yeah.
did. And then laggers doesn't,
Dollars, mhm.
yeah, doesn't that increase that cost too, or no?
It's for over 30
Yes.
35 hours. I think it's 35 hours you have to work over for
Okay.
loggers. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, it's okay.
I feel like that's part of my job is to
Yeah.
say, that general fund just gets used and abused and we're banking on tax revenues, which is always a good.
Right. I mean, he's handy, he wires, he can do a little bit of construction. I'm gonna use him and Todd Klaus to help me repair the things for the Christmas festival, any of those things that need broke. He could be utilized with any handyman stuff.
What you're looking at, something like $400 or $500 extra a month? Is that what we're looking at?
Extra hours would be 88.
Did you say 8 hours a week?
Like 90
Yeah.
a week, basically. So 90 times 4.
Okay.
Like $4,500 a year.
Not a huge jump,
But like I said, it does come out of the general account because the recycle is tapped, Parks and Rec is tapped, am I right? And,
Everything.
uh,
I mean,
Where does the revenue from the rentals for the community building go?
into the community building.
it really doesn't carry it. I mean, it's,
Yeah,
your
the
utilities
yeah.
eat every dime of that and then some. It really
It's
does.
just
It goes to the basement.
I know that's why I'm like hesitant not to vote it. I don't wanna raise it on people, but then it's like, I know it doesn't carry itself even
I
close.
mean, we've had $800-900 gas bills
Yeah, it's massive.
just because of the gym, we're using the gym.
I'm anxious to see what they are this year after
Yeah.
closing that in.
I
This
do.
is, this is a tough
I
one,
know you
guys,
don't want
because
to,
I
Lana,
think
but can we afford it?
Well, honestly, the auditor answered that question when he said we ended up last year in a deficit because of expenditure. We spent more money than we brought in. Now, the general fund has money in it, but it's because of previous years where we didn't have deficit. So, I think that it's a possibility. I don't think it's hard. I just, the general
Can
fund,
can we study this a little bit more?
Yeah, let's do
And
that.
pick it up the next meeting? We just need to do some figuring. And it's hard to do this
Yeah.
right off the cuff.
And I was gonna say, like, I know there's other funds that actually we're solid in, and I know Jim mentioned several times that he's still short a guy, right, Jim?
Yeah.
So he's mentioned he's still short a guy, and I don't know if there's a way to interweave any of that. You know, we're picking on Jim a lot on certain things. I mean, maybe if we interwoven some of that, I mean, I don't know if that's a possibility, and
But I feel like Joe's probably got enough to keep
yeah,
him busy.
streets.
Yeah,
and-
I do,
Well,
and
if
I don't
he's-
wanna kill him. I don't wanna just
Right
run
now,
him
I've
to
got
the
a guy
ground.
that goes to Dixie Park every morning and walks it.
Yeah, David.
Well, see,
And
that's what I'm
picks up
saying, but you're
trash.
taking a job off of him by putting him in that position to do that. So that's what I'm saying, is kind of interweaving some of that. It seems to me like, I don't,
What you're asking is there part of, if he was able to do some of the things that Jim is doing now, is there ability to use some of Jim's, resources?
like if
Am I
Jim's,
right?
if Jim's guy, one of Jim's utility guys is walking and checking for stuff, if checking for street signs or whatever, I mean, is that justifiable to say that Joe's guy's checking the street signs too and checking, I mean, he's using the roads, is he able to be paid out of the same thing that,
Lana?
No, let me do some checking. Can we postpone this for
To
a
the
month
next
though, or
meeting?
give me some time?
But,
Those are great ideas.
I'm not saying put him on a backhoe and have him dig
right now,
potholes, that's
everything
not what
on
I'm
my
saying
plate,
at
I'm
all.
gonna be running ragged.
I know, especially with Christmas. And maybe this can be a temporary thing through the holidays.
Yeah. The,
That's a thought.
Yeah, that's
you
a
know,
good
if any of y'all, of course, this doesn't really matter, we gotta, you know, we're red and the black is what matters. But if you've been around Cliff at all or met him, at his age and the things he brings to work, he's always there. I never have to not think he's not showing up.
Has anybody here met Cliff?
Yeah.
I think I know.
And he brings, you know, he brings his resources with him, so he's got his crackers or his sandwich or his water bottle, and
He used to work at Lazy Boy, right?
34 years.
Well, I'm just
I think
hearing.
I think I know him.
If we did 30 days.
I'd like to do this, we can pay for it.
Yeah, well, see, what I'm hearing is we're talking about the Christmas festival, and we're having a hard time with volunteers, and it sounds like you're picking up the ball and running with it, but you can't run forever with a ball with
Yeah.
exhaustion, you just
Yeah.
can't do it. And so, that is a good point, during, like, some of those major holiday times, like during the Christmas festival time, or during the Old Mining Town Days time, could we do something like that?
So can I make a motion that we increase his hours to 28 hours till January, and we will revisit it at our January meeting?
I'm happy if that works for you guys, cause I've gotta find a way to get through the year, through this next month and a half or so.
So basically what you're saying is, do we wanna do this at least through the first meeting of January?
Yes.
Lana,
Yes,
is that doable?
yeah, I think a short-term solution, and we'll have a chance to revisit it after that.
Is that
so
good
we'll do
for
it.
Ryan?
Second it.
I've got a motion and a second, while I was sitting here dreaming. And, to allow Cliff
Yeah,
to go up to a 28 hours
okay.
and,
To January.
to January,
Yeah.
the
January
January meeting, first meeting.
Yeah, but I just would like to invite you guys to come meet him if you haven't.
Okay.
Or at least, you know, come watch him in action, because.
Let me get a vote on this while it's on the floor.
Sorry.
All those in favor? 3-0.
Cause it's hard to find good guys, and Jim can tell you that.
I think I know him.
Yeah, it's hard to find people that are, you know, give you all they
Is he
can.
down past you, isn't he?
Okay, let's pass
Thank you.
some ordinances, guys. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Let's pass some ordinances here. Ordinance 886, the quarter cent, or eighth percent, is that right? An eighth
1/8
of 1% Parks Capital Improvement Tax, something we put back on the ballot every 6 years? Okay, but that has to be put back on the ballot, and what we're asking is the okay to put that on the ballot.
And this has all been posted so they can be read by the member.
Go ahead.
Bill number 886, an ordinance imposing a sales tax for capital improvements for parks and recreation purposes on all sellers of tangible real estate property for rendering taxable services at retail at the rate of 1/8 of 1% of the receipts from the sale at retail within the city of Granby, Missouri, for a period of 6 years, if such property and services are subject to taxation by the state of Missouri under the provisions of section 144.010 to 144.525 RSMLs pursuant to the authority granted by and subject to the provisions of sections 94.500 to 94.577 RSMO, and providing for submissions of this ordinance to the qualified voters of said city for their approval at the regular election called and to be held in said city on the 4th day of April 2023.
Entertain a motion.
I move to accept bill number 886 on the first reading by number and title only after having posted publicly for 10 days.
I got a motion?
Second.
I got a motion, second. All those in favor? 3-0. All right, ordinance 888, which is basically the election.
Bill number 888, an ordinance of the city of Granby, Missouri, amending section 105.020-D, articles 3, chapter 105 of the municipal code, calling for an April 4th, 2023 election in the city of Granby, Newton County, Missouri.
Entertain a motion.
I move to accept bill number 888 on the first reading by number and title only after having posted publicly for 10 days.
Second.
A motion to second. All those in favor? 3-0.
When is the final date? You have that?
Off the top of my head, I think it's 7th of the 26th.
7th through the 26th.
Ordinance 889, accepting the resignation of our attorney and appointing the new law offices of Warren, Fisher, and Lee.
Bill number 889, an ordinance accepting the resignation of Darlene Perigin as city attorney for the city of Granby and appointing the office of Horton Fisher and Lee as the city attorney for the city of Granby.
Is this one posted for 10 days also?
Yes.
Okay. I move to accept bill number 889 on the first reading by number and title only after having posted it publicly for 10 days.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? 3-0. All right, number 7 is a resolution to sign an agreement with Wharton, Fisher, and Lee.
A resolution of the city of Granby, Missouri authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the city of Granby and Horton Fisher and Lee LLC. Whereas Ira Hawkins is duly elected mayor on April 6, 2021, and whereas the Board of Aldermen feel it is sound business practice to have a resolution granting authority to Mayor Ira Hawkins to sign this agreement on behalf of the city of Granby. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Aldermen of the city of Granby that Ira Hawkins as mayor is authorized to sign on behalf of the city of Granby an agreement between the city of Granby and Wharton, Fisher, and Lee LLC for the city of Granby, Missouri. All other resolutions in conflict herewith are hereby repealed.
I move that we accept this resolution as written.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Do all those in favor? 3-0.
I the agreement is there also, and it's flagged if you would sign that as well.
Is it okay to go on to number 8?
Yes.
Resolution to sign the contract with Mike Colors Construction.
A resolution of the City of Granby, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the City of Granby and Mike Colors Construction. Whereas Ira Hawkins is duly elected mayor on April 6, 2021, and whereas the Board of Aldermen feel it is sound business practice to have a resolution granting authority to Mayor Ira Hawkins to sign this agreement on behalf of the City of Granby. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Granby that Ira Hawkins as mayor is authorized to sign on behalf of the City of Granby an agreement between the City of Granby and Mike Colors Construction for the City of Granby, Missouri. All other resolutions in conflict herewith is divided to.
I move that we accept this resolution as written.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor? 3-0. All right. The last two is basically the add-ons, which gives Lana the authority to sign accounts.
I make a motion that we put Lana as a signer on all accounts.
Does this remove others?
No.
Leaves them there, gives her the
That's right.
opportunity to communicate with the
I'll
bank.
second that.
Got a motion and a second to put Lana on the accounts. Those in favor? 3-0. Next, the last one would be to remove Bill and Ira from the court
accounts.
And add Judge White. Okay.
I make the motion that we remove Ira and Bill from the court accounts, and then we add on Judge White and Lana for the Missouri statutes. on court
Second.
accounts.
Got a motion and a second to remove Bill and myself from the account, and Judge White and Lana. All those in favor? 3-0. All right, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn this meeting.
I'll second that.
I've got a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor? 3-0. We will adjourn at 8:20.